drinking it in while I'm drifting away.
This video is inspired by Dion of the Turquoise Iris. She created a beautiful staging wall in her studio. I saw it in person last summer, and I knew I had to recreate the look on a piece of furniture.
Into space, you are my oxygen, but you're gone, gone, gone.
In the furniture painting industry, we're constantly trying to make things look old and chippy and decrepit, but when it comes to our faces, we want to make them look the opposite. It is hot and it is September, and Dion is coming to my store on Saturday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I got 4 days to get ready because we're having a big class. Before she comes, I want to get this video finished because this dresser has been sitting here for 3 weeks. I took the putty knife and the spray bottle and I just painted back and forth with Farm Fresh and Apothecary. I already shot the whole making of the dresser, so all I have to do now is talk to the camera and edit it. I'm gonna try and do it in 1 day. It may not be the best video you've ever seen, but the project is really good. Usually I create an outline for the story and then I get it all synchronized, but I don't got time for that. I'm just gonna tell you about the time last June when I had fat sucked out of my belly button and injected into my face.
How did I lose all my remnants of self-control?
I painted right over this varnished dresser without sanding or priming. I watered down the paint first with a spray bottle, blending Apothecary and Farm Fresh.
Your shadows, and I know that you're up to no good. I'm too close, too far, yeah, you're telling me it's hell, but you can only blame yourself. You're staring at the ashes, holding on to matches, wondering if you burn it down.
DIY paint is very saturated and clay-based. In most cases, you don't need any prep work. When you get to be this age, you just start looking at things. Like you just keep wanting your chin to go back to where it was when you were in your 40s. This is how it all happened. First, Jamie Ray came. We did a video together and I was editing the video and I started scrutinizing my face. I don't like flaps under my lower lip. After Jamie left, she sent me a text and she told me that she went and got Botox. I'm gonna do it too. I'm going to the place. I made an appointment. I was gonna get cheek fillers put in right here and I was hoping that that would raise my cheekbones up. I was hoping that this all would kind of raise up with it. And then I went to see another doctor because I wanted to get a second opinion. And he started telling me that filler is only temporary. And he talked me into doing this thing called the nano fat transfer. They do liposuction in your belly button, 4 shot glasses full of fat. And then they take your fat and they put it in a machine and it spins around really fast. And so your fat separates and you take the liquid part only. Then they start injecting your face and they put it in my cheeks and then they put it in my upper lip and they put it under my eyes and in my forehead and in the backs of my hands. I did this the day before I was getting on a plane to go to Oklahoma to teach a class with Dion. I just did it. I'm gonna get it over with while I have the courage to do it. I just told myself that I would be fine and that there was gonna be bruises on my face and my face was gonna look really puffy and that my lips were gonna look like I was a duck.
Letting you know you're not alone.
I cut up the transfer from Iron Orchid Design strategically because I wanted all the roses to show with the plaster over the top, so I needed to place them along the edges of the dresser. I used this transfer from Iron Orchid Designs right here. It's called Floral, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's Flora Pastinisnis. Flora Paris Inesis. Flora Parisinesis. You take the transfer, put it on very strategically, kind of on the edges of the dresser and around the corners.
Maybe from the inside, I could be your ally.
You apply the transfer with a little plastic stick. It's kind of like putting on a temporary tattoo, but it's permanent once you put the sealer over the top.
Take that step with you. wanna do more than what I say I'll do.
I like to apply the transfers in one big piece, going over the seam lines of the drawers and the knobs. Later I go back and score it so the drawers will open.
But if it doesn't feel right on the outside, maybe from the inside, I could be your ally. If it doesn't feel right.
I went home and I looked at myself in the mirror, and for a couple hours I looked really younger, better, higher cheekbones. My lips looked good. I packed my suitcase. I set my alarm for like 5 o'clock in the morning, and I woke up and my face was swollen and my eyes were super puffy and the backs of my hands were so swollen that I couldn't bend my fingers. And it's not the doctor's fault. He told me that I would have swelling. I could not pick up my suitcase because my hands wouldn't bend. Get to Oklahoma and Dion meets us at the airport. She took one look at me and I could tell by the look on her face that she was concerned, but she didn't know what to say. Oh my God, Debbie, what did you do? We have a class to teach tomorrow. People are coming from all over the country and you look kind of weird right now.
I was like, what happened the last 12 hours? Because the night before, she had sent me a photo at eye level. Not here. Here. And I thought, what am I looking at? Debbie's so cute. Right? So 12 hours later, she comes around the corner and I'm like, what? I am like actively thinking, she's not going to want to do this. She's not going to let anybody see her. How am I going to manage this class? What am I going to tell people? I know that Debbie's not going to want people to see her. Why are there? There's bruising. There's puffy. It was more puffy. And I thought, what happened on that flight?
I've been through this a million times. Now I'm starting to lose my mind.
I used paper clay from Iron Orchid Designs to mimic the look of cracked plaster. I rolled it out as thin as I could, pressing the kindest regards stamp into the clay to create a deep impression.
You're like a cruel infection. Your love is spreading to my heart. I've gotta stop it.
I use this because I don't have a rolling pin, and I just rolled it and I got it as thin as I could get it. And you just keep rolling it and rolling it and rolling it. It ends up looking like this. It's not a perfect circle or anything like that. So it looks like cracked, random plaster.
Thought I'd get caught up, but in the thorns I got stuck. You're like a bad addiction.
I applied the clay right over the drawer seams and scored the edges after it was in place.
Your love is spreading to my heart. I've gotta stop it before you start.
This is the kindest regards stamp. It looks like an old vintage letter. I'm not quite sure what it says. And then you just position the stamp over it and then you roll it again. Push down on it if you want. Just whatever you have to do to get a really good indentation. And some of it might stick to the stamp, but that's okay because you want it to be, oh no, it doesn't matter if it rips because it's cracked. There's the script into the clay.
Drinking it in while I'm drifting away, breathing you out of my lungs.
You can use a variety of stamps from Iron Orchid Design. I chose Kindest Regards, which is one of our best sellers. Then I applied wood glue with a brush to the back to adhere to the dresser.
But you're gone, gone, gone. Anywhere I go, I swear I can feel it.
I'm very cautious because I don't want to say anything. I also picture her like stomping off, crying if I said the wrong thing. But I see that it's Debbie, but Debbie looks puffy. And a little bruised. And because she hadn't looked in the mirror, she didn't know. But she went to the bathroom shortly after that. But I thought, I'm gonna have to do this class alone. She's flown all this way for nothing because she's puffy.
Poor Dion. She was just going with the flow. She was just trying to, I don't know, tell herself that everything was gonna be fine. I looked like someone who had too much plastic surgery. And then by the next day, I looked better, but then I had bruises on my face. And I put tons and tons of makeup on my face. Did that face baking thing where you pack the powder on your face so that your makeup stays on all day. And I taught the painting class, and there were 50 women there, and they all took pictures with me, and none of them said that I looked different, but I know that I did. So if you went to the class and you were wondering, that is why.
Life's a coat of many colors. It is never black and white.
I blended more Farm Fresh and Apothecary over the top of the clay, using the spray bottle again to blend the paint down into the low spots of the stamp.
In the summer we were lovers. With the flame our hearts would burn. A flame the autumn.
Dion is going to be here in 4 days. I just thought that it would be a good time to go back to the doctor and see what else I can do to improve my face. I went back to the same doctor. I wanted to get this thing called oil therapy. They zap your neck and your lower face, and it's supposed to compound the tissue and make it tighter, and he talked me out of it. He said I should do that later. He said that my face will be puffy again. Then I asked him if I should do some Botox, some cheek injections, and he said no, you'll look fake if you do that. Instead, IPL laser treatment, and that's where they put this gel all over your face, and he zaps your face repeatedly, and then it just kind of crusts up and it peels off, and it's supposed to make your skin look really soft and really fresh, and it tightens. It's a good thing that I did it a week ago, because my face did get really crusty and chippy looking, kind of like what you want to do with furniture. And now my face is feeling fresh. At least this time when I go to pick up Dion at the airport, she's not going to look at me and freak out.
Drinking it in while I'm drifting away.
Last thing to do is apply a combination of clear wax and white wax, working in small sections, putting the clear wax underneath the white wax so that you can have more control over the intensity.
Into space, you are my oxygen, but you're gone.
When it's just how you want it, and you're really happy with it, and and everything is looking really good, then you put on the white wax, and that just makes it look really aged and soft. Without the white wax, it can look too chaotic, too busy, too messy, and so the white wax is where it all comes together. Paper clay is not like plaster of Paris. It's not brittle. It's actually very flexible and very durable. I've used it on many projects and haven't had any trouble with it being fragile. Here I'm using our DIY synthetic waxing brush and the Paint Pixie buffing brush to get the wax down into all the low spots of the surface, and then I'm wiping off the excess.
Almost.
I feel like I have less of the nasal labial folds and less of the jowling, and my lips are a little bit fuller, and my forehead is definitely smoother. Everyone can do what they want. If you don't believe in that kind of thing, that's fine, but I did it, and I'm glad that I did it. I think we have 2 tickets left to the class, so if this video goes up in time and you want to come to the class, go to theturquoiseiris.com and you can get one of the 2 tickets that are left. Find DIY paint in your area To find a DIY paint furniture class near you, to sell DIY paint in your store, to follow the turquoise iris or iron orchid design, click the link below. Thanks for watching.
Trees can walk around. Sometimes our feet float off the ground.